My name is Mitt Joyner, and currently I am the president of the North America region of IFSW. I also serve as president of the National Association of Social Workers, which is located in the United States. Today, we're going to do an overview of a report, but we wanted to welcome you and let you know exactly what we do and how busy we have been over the last year. It is my privilege and honor, however, before we start that process, to introduce to you the Vice President of IFSW North America region, Joan. Joan, do you want to give a brief introduction?
Hi, Mitt. Hi, everybody out there who's going to be able to see this. I'm Joan Davis Whalen. I'm president of the Canadian Association of Social Workers, and as Mitt said, currently vice president for North America for the International Federation of Social Workers. And our head office for Canadian Association of Social Workers is located in Ottawa, Ontario, in our nation's capital. And we're really excited to be here with you today just to talk about a little bit about our report and a little bit about some important things that we have been doing with regards to IFSW North American region.
So let's just begin, let's just review. The IFSW North America region, as you've just heard, is made up of Canada and the United States. I serve as president until June 30th of this year, 2022, when I will switch roles with my colleague Joan, and she will become the president of the North America region of IFSW, and I will take her position as vice president. We believe in just every 2 years, we change roles since it's just two countries. We also know that you probably want to know how we work with other commissions, and on the report that you will have listed the ethics, the education, the human rights, the indigenous, and the United Nations commissioners, which serve us and we work with. We're happy to report, and then I'll turn it over to Joan to kind of talk about some things. We're happy to report that the last 2 years, we've worked very hard together to have a virtual conference. Yes, during this pandemic, we decided, why not have a virtual conference for the North America region? It has not had its own separate conference before, and so we are really honored and privileged to have two. Last year in 2021, we focused on Ubuntu and bringing in students and new social workers to the field to explain IFSW. But with that, I'd like to say, make sure you always look at the entire IFSW website. It is divided into regions, and under each region, it talks about the various countries and the initiatives that they have. So right now, you are on the North America region, and then you can look at all of the others, because there's a wealth of information there about issues that are going on around the world. This year, we decided to have a second conference, which was about our Indigenous journey, talking about the experiences of Indigenous people across the United States and Canada. Joan?
Yeah, and it was an absolutely wonderful experience. I think that's one of the things that we have worked really well at, and that is hosting these events that are free to our joint memberships right across the country, as well as the international population of social workers who can take a look at each one of these events and really get a sense of what's happening, because we try to balance it out in terms of American and Canadian representation. So it's really been a wonderful experience, and one we're going to continue to work on together, because it has really opened up a wealth of topics and discussion amongst social workers in the North American region. So I think that's one thing that definitely we'll be continuing to do and continue to work on. One of the other things that we have talked about as well is the fact that we have both been doing so much in terms of Social Work Month. And historically, we've done these events, one in the spring and one in the fall. So we will continue to do so. But we have, I mean, if you go in on the report, and it's just too lengthy for us to, I think, to detail, you'll see that we have done numerous webinars, presentations, all kinds of things with regards to education and professional development for social workers. And I think that's been critical, as well as our partnerships. we have so many partnerships with different organizations and diverse organizations across both of our countries. And one of the things that you'll see there on the report, it'll list our partnerships and who we're working with, as well as projects that we're working on. So I'm going to turn it back to Mitt again now for a minute.
Yes, Joan just talked about there are a lot of links in our report because there's no way that we would be able to summarize each report. So we ask you and urge you to download the link and to kind of look at what's happening. I do know that members from CASW look at our website and we look at CASW's website. We urge you to look at NASW and CASW's website to even learn and determine how you can become more active with us. We're going to just kind of talk about our future. You know, as the world had experienced a pandemic and everyone's mental health has been affected, both of our organizations have worked in mental health. A lot of our social workers are engaged in that. As you well know, the border is there and some of our workers work in Canada and some of our Canadian brothers and sisters work in the United States. So a couple of the presentations that you'll see in the conference links talks about what it is to work in both countries. But I'm glad to say that NASW received a large grant from the CDC about COVID and trying to help social workers understand and navigate so we understand what to do when there is another pandemic. There's no question that there will be more things that break out and there's a lot of lessons learned. And we're going to try to focus on some of the border issues that we might be able to come out with some really good relevant information. Joan?
Yeah, and I think it's very true what Mitt said. There's a lot of really good links there, and please go in and take a look on each one of our websites and follow the links, because I think that's kind of critical. One of the things that we will be talking about in one of those links talks about the fact that we just did a full review and we had gotten a grant to do so for our foreign trained social workers. And that has been really helpful to us to talk about distance education, talking about equivalencies, and to help foreign trained social workers come and work in Canada, for example. So there's a lot of really good and interesting things in there, even from an international perspective, even if you don't live in Canada or the US, that may be very helpful to you. One of the things I'd like to mention as well is that talking about future projects for us, I know that with CASW, right now we have a memorandum of understanding with the Association of Black Social Workers, which is really helpful for us because we're working on a reparations project. We're updating our website constantly. We're talking about as well a new statement on social policy principles and an anti-racism statement. We're in the midst of an operational review, so there's lots of good information in there. And the other thing that we're very proud about is the fact that we will, in the next year to 2 years, have a new CASW Canadian Code of Ethics and Guidelines for Ethical Practice, which has been a huge project, but definitely well worth the effort and the time that our membership has put into us for us. And so we're really pleased about that. Yeah, Mitt?
Yeah, so as you can see, we've been very busy over the last 2 years, and we will continue to do so. As the world evolves and new issues emerge, both Joan and I are on it, right? We make sure that our membership is engaged. We help to try to get relevant information to them, and we even participate in many of the events that you see listed on the page. As you know, in the United States, a leak just occurred in regards to our own Supreme Court. And right now we are looking at taking positions on how we can protect the rights of women and their choice for their reproductive rights. Yes, something happens every day. It's different, but it's social work. And that's why you've entered this profession. You've entered this profession not because it's not difficult. It has a lot of challenges, but there are numerous opportunities for us to make our mark, for us to take the lead. I am so happy that I've worked with Joan over the last 2 years. I understand more about the issues related to Canada and the US. And I also am glad to have worked with my other colleagues on IFSW. We've learned a lot about the roles and the positions that social workers take. So I hope you enjoy our report. If you have any questions, feel free to contact Joan or myself, and we would be glad to either clarify or, if we can, direct you to where you can get even more information. So thank you. Enjoy the meeting and the conference, and we'll see you again in 2 years. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everyone.